Good morning, traders and investors, and anyone else who decides to watch. This is modified Darvas Box MDB, the Darvas Box AI, although there is none strictly for it, but I bet you there will be real soon. I'm coming at you here with another weekend review video, and it is Saturday, March 21st at almost 10:30 a.m. in the morning. And I hope everybody's having a good start to the weekend. What a week. The stock market has been, very, very interesting lately. And we're going to see some interesting charts, I think, as to try and interpret what is going on. Clearly, everything is bearish or bear market, but what's really interesting is the slow pace of it. Normal bear markets are panic, oh my God, all that kind of thing. This is just a slow grinding sort of bearishness, but it's also punctuated by, some potential things that might suggest that maybe this is going to be short-lived. I don't know. A lot of it is due to Iran and President Trump and things like that. So, I don't know. We'll see. Keyword, I don't know, but the charts are going to help us interpret what the heck is going on and then what we should be doing. For anybody who's never watched one of my videos before, I'm an independent trader, investor. I've been doing trading since I placed my first trade in 1995. So you could say I've been around, and I have seen a lot. I've seen oil prices trade negative. I've seen tech bubbles. I've seen loose monetary policy. I've seen all kinds of idiocy. And so, I've seen a lot. So a lot of stuff doesn't shock me. And that's where, when you don't know, don't worry about it. Things will be clear in time. The good news is when we do see something, man, it's obvious. It's like, man, you can't miss it. So you just got to keep an open mind and stay with rule number one, which is don't lose money. Like, don't transact just because you think, wait for your pitch. Don't lose money. Because in markets like this, you could easily lose, 20% of your capital, poof, in an instant. And you don't want to do that. You want to be conservative in your decision making. Let the charts, the signals on the charts show you what to do. All right, so we'll get into it here. So as you can see, I've got my charts. I've got these box ranges in different colors. My strategy is based on the book, How I Made $2 Million in the Stock Market by Nicholas Darvas. It's an investing classic. I recommend everybody read it and study it thoroughly. Many see it as a cute story, but I saw it as a serious strategy. And then I've also added elements of the Strat strategy, which was developed by Rob Smith. And as a result, I'm a techno-fundamentalist blend of different things that I think works. It works for me. So feel free to cherry pick anything that you think is a good idea and that you could use in your own trading. As you can see, my charts have different colors. Let me see if there's a better one. For example, I've got different conditions colored in here, whereas yellow, that's a bullish signal. We got these pink bars right here, which is bearish, pay attention. Like, sit up and pay attention. Doesn't mean sell, immediately hit the sell button, but it means, whoa, what was that? Better sit up and pay attention. Blue, the opposite of the pink. Bullish, with a bullish tint, sit up and pay attention. We got these gray bars here, which are inside bars. Inside bars are inherently 50-50 because it's sort of the market can't make a decision. And if you use it as a trading signal, well, you simply buy whichever direction it hits. If it hits the upper side, buy. If it hits the lower side, sell or short. And then lastly, these orange bars, orange are bullish hammers, or if they're inverted, then they're bearish shooters. That's terminology. Like, there's one right there. So I use colors on my charts to help interpret what the heck is going on and show me signals. And then you've got the Darvas box ranges here, and I'm looking for the breakout and then to buy as it's coming out and then ride the trend. And this is the key thing. You ride the trend until you get another signal, which tells you to get off. And that may mean sitting through some ugly red days, but that's what it means to be a trend follower. Ride the trend higher. If there's a bad day, shrug it off. Wait for the signal. And now the other element, which many, many, many people don't get, is time frame. So my core time frame is weekly charts. I think weekly is good for me because it filters out noise, but you might prefer daily chart view or half day or 65 minutes, or you might prefer monthly charts, quarterly charts, or even yearly charts. So time frame matters. And what I'll offer to you is to try not to jump time frames. Like I bought it on this weekly signal, but something occurred on the monthly and now I'm getting out, or vice versa. I bought it on the 30-minute chart, I bought it on the weekly chart, but something happened on the 30 and that really creeps me out and I'm getting out. No. Stick to your time frames. That's what I will recommend to you guys. And then lastly, I keep my stocks in 6 different lists here. I'm constantly moving stocks from like one list to another. And that's one way of like relative strength. You've got your bullish list. If stocks are coming off, well, the market's getting weak. Or if stocks are going on the bullish list, well, obviously stocks are getting stronger. So that's my way of doing it. And I always start on the big picture, which is the index view. And because I always want to know the big picture first. So that's my charts, and we'll get into it here in just a sec. 2 things I want to share with you real quick here. Sentiment, the NAM Exposure Index. So this is a survey of investment managers reported to their members, and it's kind of interesting. It's a secondary indicator, and look at where we're at now. The latest reported one was 3 days ago. You think this number is more bearish now, but look at that. On January 28th, we were at 92. Everybody was bullish. Now we're at 60. A lot of bears out there. And but in many ways, sentiment, okay, there's a lot of bearish people out there. If we find the signals for a bounce, well, then this is going to change because it's very possible for people to get too bullish or too bearish. So this is a good indicator of sentiment. But I wouldn't trade off of it, but it's just nice secondary to see, get a sense of what's going on out there, what people are thinking. Pardon me while I take a drink of water. This next one I wanted to show you was something I did on the abomination site of stockcharts.com. Obviously, I'm behind the times, and I should have Claude Code or whatever generate this for me. But hey, I'm old school. What can you say? I get into habits. It's hard to break. But stockcharts.com is a terrible website. It's loaded with ads and stuff. Ugh. But what I wanted to show you is I made a chart of the put-call ratio. Again, would I trade off this? No, but it's a secondary indicator. Look at that. So going back a year here, put calls were down here below 1.0. Well, looky here. They did go up above it back in November, beginning of November. And now with the panic, it hit almost 110 here on this week and closed at 1.01 above that 1.0 level. People are panicking, but this is also good because it means they're buying puts, which is a form of hedging. When markets are hedged, they tend to not go down a lot. When markets are unhedged, that's when you get those whopper drops. So this is interesting to see. Yeah, people have been buying protection. And the question is, how much protection do they need? But again, it's another sentiment indicator. Secondary, I'd never trade off it, but it helps build the picture that we're saying. All right, so let's start with the indexes and try to make this fast. I don't want to go over an hour, but I'm a talker, so we may be stuck with that. You can always play this on fast forward, etc. So AMZ, MLP index. Well, we know energy prices are up, right? Duh. You see it at the pump. I was in California last week, and oh my God, Californians are being robbed blind by with the taxes and the costs. It was insane how much it took to fill up my rental car. But look at this. Ever since beginning of January, MLPs, energy-linked securities, have been going up like that. MLPs are great for income. You know, I own a few energy MLPs, and man, they just pay like clockwork, and it's lovely. And that's something I talked about on my Twitter. Is traders, if you're making a lot of profits, start an income portfolio, because then it generates you income for when the market stinks. I have one. I started doing that decades ago. You take a little bit of profits, put it in your new account, and it should be focused on stuff that pays income. Dividends, income, interest, don't matter. Junk bonds are always good. Junk bond funds. And when spreads start to widen, there can be some real deals on income. So, and spreads have been widening. They got historically tight earlier this year to where there's no good things like that. But man, now there's going to be some great income vehicles, and you know, income is the name of the game. It's not really capital gains. Capital gains, the government takes 30% of your profits. What the f, man? And income is what pays the bills during the bad times. So I highly recommend you look at that. ARK, Kathy Wood. Isn't it interesting? Kathy Wood, even she started making money. She was a joke. Now she came back, but now I think she makes questionable decisions, but I always like keeping tabs on her portfolio. And here we have the Darvas box breakdown right there. Look how it sort of bounced along the bottom here, threatening to break down. A lot of sellers. But you know what? If it's not breaking down, there's a lot of sellers. That means there's buyers, supply and demand. It finally broke the box here on this bearish shooter bar right there. But does this mean panic, sell everything? Any rebound here will take it right back up. So are we in a panic? No. I mean, does that look panic? No. There was your go signal right here. That was back during the tariff tantrum, which seems so long ago. Let's look here. BZJ, proxy for oil. ARCA mini oil index. Yep, up. But we expect oil to be up. Why am I not using USO? Because USO is a terrible fund. The slippage between NAV and price is just astronomical. So look at that. It registered nothing and all of a sudden blammo. Well, okay, that's the way it is, but BZJ is a better proxy for that. Okay. All right, here's the big kahuna, NASDAQ. So NASDAQ here, there was our go signal. This is all the tariff tantrum. I used sentiment here. I was buying down in here. Regular people had a chance to buy in here if you just weren't sure. We had the lovely run and signals. Pink, the reaction, benign. Pink, the reaction, benign inside. The whole point of a signal is to gauge the reaction to it. The signal is meaningless. The reaction to it's what's important. Here we have the signal, a reaction. And notice here, the market started going higher a couple weeks after the signal. What did the market do here? Signal, not higher. Attempted higher, not higher. And then what did it start doing? It started going down, getting dragged down. That's because the Iran thing started getting going. And now here we are this week, finally a box breakdown. That means panic, right? Sell everything, right? Well, come on. If you were really panicked, you would have been selling up in here. As an indicator, this is telling you it finally gave up the ghost. Okay, that means we're in a bear market. Let's see the reaction next week. Trump made some comments yesterday evening, which really throws everything in a loop. Maybe we open Monday with a gap up, and now we're back in the box. But At face value, it means bear market. Bear market means defense, play defense. Emerging markets. There's your bearish shooter bar right here, bearish shooter right here. It was giving signals, another bearish shooter right here, now down. So this was giving signals, hey man, this Iran thing, we're having some problems with it. But emerging markets are a space you absolutely want to focus on when things improve. Look at that quarterly chart. Went up, came right back down. That's a bearish candle, bearish shooter bar. But if we go to the yearly chart, emerging markets came out of a long, almost 20-year base. This has legs for the future. And as the world gets fixed and the cancerous Iran stuff gets excised, man, the world's going to be a better place overall. So I think international in the future is going to be great. But right now, that's telling us bearish. Ethereum, what a dump graveyard. There's nothing going on here. You had the inside bar. Hasn't even formed a new box yet based on my rules. My rules for starting a box is I need a couple of consecutive weeks up. In this whole slop, there hasn't been 2 consecutive weeks up. Forget about it. FFTY, this is a proxy for growth stocks. Not looking so good here. It tried to break out and then, nope. Sideways, net result. China, Darvas box breakdown. Oof, with some ugly pink bars. Not good. China's definitely a loser in all this. They are in a bear market. Gold's been doing phenomenal, but then all of a sudden, what's happening? Selling, big selling. You had selling here, and now you had the inside bar weekly. Remember, there's a weekly chart. And then what did it do? That was a 50-50 clunk. Now, this occurred because the Gulf states got bombed by Iran, and some of the infrastructure got damaged, and it'll take a while to fix. Well, it's been speculated, I don't know, but it's been speculated that this is all the Gulf states selling because they need cash, baby. Like, sure, it's great to own gold when it's going up, but I got to spend some cash, so I'm going to sell my gold. But that's speculation. We don't really know. But other commentators have noted that, like silver, government bonds, everything's down. Well, they all need cash. Time to cash in. It's like your savings account. Junk bonds, Darvas box breakdown, and look at that. Red, 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 red. There's been a lot of selling in junk. Well, why? Junk bonds reflects more economic uncertainty. Hey, if leveraged companies can't pay their bills, then they default. That's risky. See down here? That was the tariff tantrum. Say that 10 times fast. And look at that selling. But it escalated and then climaxed in here. We've had a lot of selling here, so this may escalate. We'll have to keep an eye on this, but that's a bearish scenario. Okay, the economy's going to struggle a little bit. Got it. Insurance, sideways, more down. I thought it was going to break out over here. It did not. But net result, more sideways. Insurance is very profitable. Look at that monthly chart. Sideways. Eventually, if this breaks upwards, we're going to want to buy it and own it. Let's look at the yearly. Yearly, look at that. Unstoppable. Up, 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 up. So it's having a few bumps right now. Big deal. Buy it when it stops having the bumps and it breaks out. Bitcoin. Why are you wasting your time on Bitcoin? Darvas box breakdown here. I use one single moving average. Normally, I don't use moving averages. I don't believe in them. I don't think they're necessary, and I don't think they accurately reflect what you want, what people want in terms of a trading signal. When I see price hit a moving average, the question is, what am I supposed to do here? Buy or sell? I don't know, and nobody seems to be able to tell you either. And they always roll out another moving average when one doesn't work. The 10 didn't hold up. Well, I'll use the 17. The 17 didn't work. All right, let's go to the 21, and so on and so on. Which one's the right one? I don't know. So I picked one, and I use it as a very broad indicator. I code prices below it as red, and I code prices above it as green. That's it, red, green. But back to Bitcoin, there's little action. People are like, oh, it's a bottom here. Come on. Where's the big green volume bars? There's one right here, and that was on a bearish bar, which attracted sellers. Let's look at it at monthly time frames. Monthly, yeah, that doesn't look so hot. Okay, yeah, it may have stopped going down here, but all it's doing is forming a sideways box. Does that mean it's bullish? No, come on. And then, quarterly, well, there's not enough data for other ones, but it's just not what people think it is at the moment. Software was getting pounded from right here in November. Remember, everybody's talking about software. Look at this uh, box breakdown here. It popped higher because people are optimistic, and then proceeded to roll over big time. There's been a lot of volume here. By the way, this violet is green volume also. It's just coded a certain color because I believe volume, when it's good volume, it should be within certain parameters. So I change it to a violet color. But green, green, green. So a lot of money went into software. But look what's happening. Okay, it may have stopped down here in the 70s, gone up a bit, but now it's giving it right back. There's that inside bar right there, and it's got a negative reaction. So is software the place you need to be? Come on. This is people bottom fishing and praying that software, it's the software they remember. But the problem is it's not. The future of software is totally in doubt because of AI. AI is going to do all the software. So what's that going to do to companies? Nobody knows. But people place some large bets here that software isn't dead. But I don't know. If it keeps going down, look out. Housing, ITB. Okay, interest rates have gone up. The Fed does not appear to be cutting. Economic uncertainty. Yeah, people aren't going to be buying houses. Now, I prematurely drew a box on that when I really shouldn't because it hasn't found its low here. But this just looks, there was optimism and hope. See, they're buying. And now it's rolled over as people realize, crap, rates have gone up. When rates go up, people don't buy homes and they don't refinance and all that kind of stuff. Trump browbeats the Fed daily, it seems, to lower rates, but they haven't. So it is what it is. Micro caps, great run going up here. Box breakdown right there. Again, more signals that it's bearish, but here's a good signal. Volume. There's no volume here. It's low volume. You had buy, sell, even bigger buy. So this tells me that there's belief in micro caps, real small caps. There's no real intensity on the selling, so that tells me it's being dragged down against its will. And dragged down, you could argue, is sort of what's going on here. It got dragged down, but this is more selling. We'd want to look for things that are going down, but on lighter volume. Unfortunately, yeah, that's like that. So microcaps are really the first really low volume area. But it means when the rebound inevitably comes, keep an eye on small companies. Focus your research there. IWM, oof, that's some bigger red. Box breakdown, there's a bearish shooter bar, and yep, it triggered confirmed down here. Okay. Major indexes, all are bearish. IYH, healthcare. Look at that. Healthcare's got a real checkered history. It was going up nicely, sideways, tried to break out here, and now it gave up the ghost and got dragged down like everything else. Transportations, and I really drew that prematurely. Transports going up, but yeah, getting some selling. Hey, the economy's going to get tougher. Oil prices. So, sell. Mags, Magnificent Seven. Look at this. Same as the NASDAQ. There's these signals to buy. Nice trend. Sideways. And then we got a white bar sell signal right there. That is the opposite of the yellow bar bullish one, buy signal. So you could argue, buy it here, sell it here. That would have gotten you a 50 to 60 return. What is that, 20%? That's pretty good for a large cap investor. But signal here, and ever since the signal, it's been headed down. So that's a great example of signaling and reactions and all that. When you see a signal, it doesn't mean sell everything, but it means, we may things may be changing here. QQQ. Now, QQQ is different from everybody else. If you notice this, there's the run up. We've got signals here. We got another signal here. And then it just sort of, it got the red bars here, but it just went sideways. People were buying the Qs. Now it gave up the ghost. Notice here, it's the only index where it did not break down. Look at that. How's it broken down? Volume was low. So when the rebound initially occurs, which I don't know when, we're definitely going to be focused on the Qs and microcaps. See how we're interpreting things already? RSP, premature box draw. All right, I was optimistic. But up, and then all of a sudden, oh crap, the economy's going down. Now, what's interesting, light volume. So some assumptions about mainstream America are being made, or because this index has less tech, but is it really all that bad? Well, I don't know, but apparently some people are panicking, but it is what it is. The signal, ever since then, it's been down. So retail ETF, up. Signal, sideways. Signal, box breakdown, and now big time selling. I think this ETF has Amazon in it and things like that. So that could easily be based on what's in it. But yep, not bullish. Shy interest rates. Okay, this is short-term interest rates. When prices on this go up, interest rates go down. So here's what's happened. Remember how housing is struggling? It was all set, and then all of a sudden, 3 weeks ago, clunk. I think that was a Fed meeting or something. I don't remember. But all of a sudden, signal, and now down, which means interest rates are going up. When interest rates go up, it makes the economy tougher. So we're painting a picture here. Things are bearish. Yeah, no doubt about it. Silver. The huge run, which everybody was talking about. The huge signal here on gigantic volume. Ever since then, sideways, no big green, and it can't hold up, and now it crashed downwards through the bottom of the box. The only saving grace here, low volume. Well, low relative to the average volume. But to me, that means, yeah, they're not selling it as hard as they were here. So, but again, bearish look. Semiconductors, sideways. Look at this volume. Sell, buy, sell. Net result, sideways. Although that's an inside bar, so it could break downwards on Monday. But semiconductors, strong AF. So if we're looking for ideas, we want semiconductors. Here, S&P 500, are we expecting anything different? No, not really. Signal, reaction, signal, sideways. White bar sell signal, down, clunk. All major indexes are dropping. SPYs to match. I use SPYs just to see the volumes. Yep, we're in a bear market. Now here's sentiment. Sentiment is at a low. And in fact, sentiment has closed at lows 2 weeks in a row. Remember how bearish everybody is? Well, they're selling their stocks. We've seen it in the other charts. Well, sentiment here can mark tops and bottoms. I've marked it here. Let's go back out to COVID. COVID was down in here. We're here. Is this the end of the world like COVID? No. So we got 2 weeks in a row of lousy sentiment closes. I would argue that this is setting the stage for a bounce. Not the beginning of a new bull market. I mean, I have no idea about that, but a bounce. And I think that bounce may start on Monday because it could be Trump's comments cause a bounce. So we'll see. So don't get too bearish. Like if you just shorted everything on Friday, you may be a little concerned. So we'll see. Stocks above the 200-day was holding up fantastic at 52% until the last 3 weeks. Clunk, clunk, clunk. That's when sentiment, look how bad sentiment got. All of a sudden, people started panicking. Here's another argument for a bounce. Stocks above the 40-day moving average. Only 16% of stocks in the market are above its 40-day moving average. Why they don't change this indicator to 50-day, I have no idea. But look at that. It's fast approaching the buy everything in sight zone, which occurred here that during the Trump tariff tantrum and doesn't happen all that often. It's currently in the buy zone here, but the super buy zone, it's getting close to it. So again, what are the odds for a bounce? I'd say the odds are increasing. Solar, look at this move. Up, 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 sideways. Solar has a future. May want to look at solar stocks. Premature box here. TLT. Treasuries. We already know that Treasuries interest rates went up. When this price goes up, rates are going down. When price goes down, rates are going up. They're selling Treasuries, Mortimer. UFO. Space ETF going what? Sideways. Look at all the selling that occurred in here too, and yet price hardly budged. Extremely interesting. If there's sellers here and price isn't budging, that means there's buyers soaking up those shares. Supply and demand, baby. The VIX, another thing on sentiment. Box breakout to the upside. Yeah, people are getting concerned. It was the last 3 weeks. Everything was fine up to the last 3 weeks. I think that's when some oil infrastructure got bombed or something. I don't know. But it's the last 3 weeks where people started getting nervous and concerned. However, volatility is not in the panic, buy everything in sight. I've got it drawn at 40 level. Every time, if it goes above it, buy it. Just buy stocks. Because that means people are panicking. Let me see if I can give you a better, on monthly chart. Let's even go quarterly. 40 level right here. When panic occurs and it goes above 40, just buy stocks. But we're not there yet. We're in the selling, I'm really concerned level. All right. Real estate, REITs, that's premature box. You can see how it broke out here, and now the market's just dragged it down. Defense, up, sideways, now some down, but still sort of sideways. And then energy, XLE. Look at that, matching oil. If there was a place we should have invested in as soon as the Middle East, oil. Live and learn, right? And contra to oil, financials, down. Can't find any footing. Premature box there. And look at the signals here. Sell signal here. Nope, it came back up. Sell signal here. I'm still not sure. Inside bar, broke downwards, sell it. And lastly, XLU Energy, premature box. Energy going up here. And this is utilities, by the way. Utilities like AI, energy. Box breakout. Going up now. Last 3 weeks struggling. And this week gave up the ghost. But volume was kind of low. So not too shabby. All right. That's the big picture. We know the big picture is bearish. Okay, got it. Bearish with the potential to bounce on news or something like that. Let's look now at textbook box breakout leaders. These are what I consider to be the leading stocks in the market. And because they show this textbook pattern of a sideways box, just like Darvas wrote about in the book, and then bursting through its key level on big giant volume. Just like it did it here. Oh, let's mark that with a circle. Sideways range, breakout higher. But then look, it went up and then had this sell signal. Then another pink signal. What did it do? It's just been going nothing chop here. Sideways, breakout here. Now, I've never been following this stock until very recently, so no position or anything, but it doesn't look too bad to me right here. But it's a leader, new leader. AXTI, box breakout here. I saw it, I missed it. It went back up. I ended up buying right down here on the panic. Great decision. Even if I missed here, I'm in and loving it. Why, the market's down. Why do I care? I'm sitting here. Sure, it didn't stick at 60. Oh, boo-hoo. 54 on a 32 entry. Come on. I'm sitting pretty. I'm sitting long. I'm not panicking. What I really wish is why didn't I buy it down in here? Ugh. Or if only I had known, I should have bought here. Well, all right. Better late than never. Kava, the restaurant company, had a horrible time down here, but formed a new box, broke out, and now it's in an uptrend. Granted, it had a tough week here, but uptrend. Dell Computer. Oh, Dell shouldn't be on this list. I put it on when it broke out up here, but then it closed downward, so it shouldn't be on this list. But you can see here, Dell struggled. It was bouncing along the bottom of its box, a yellow bar buy signal, where everything turned around, and now it tried to break out on that SMCI news. So we'll put this just in bullish. DOCN, fantastic. Look at that. What bear market? What Iran situation? This is the stuff we should be buying. See, box breakout right here. Great reaction. It didn't really break out here. It tried to break out here, but then gave it up immediately. But look where it all started. Yellow bars buy signal here. Ever since then, up and away. And it formed a lovely base box. Look how long that base is right there. Gave a go signal. It's go time. And ever since then, it's been up. Let's look at this on a monthly chart. Yeah, monthly. Look how clean that is. I remember trading it in here and all that. Gave the huge signal here. Ever since then, did nothing until we started signaling. Here, look with the big green volume. There's your breakout on a monthly. We could have bought it at 50 or down in here. Now it's at 80 and going up. Lovely. NBIS, the People's Champion. Try and find me somebody who doesn't love this stock. Sideways. Box breakout. Yeah, struggled a little bit, but a lot of stuff did. Looks fine to me. RTX. Ooh, this one was on the list. Fantastic upwards climb. Defense contractor. Look at that. They're selling. It broke downwards on the box there, the box level. If you had bought this breakout, it failed right there. Why would a defense company not be breaking out higher? Well, because the war is over. They won. Interesting, huh? Let's put this back into watching. If that's not telling you that the Iran war is effectively over, I don't know what is. When defense contractor stocks aren't going up, that means investors view this conflict as over. People may be panicking in other areas, but remember, we're looking for interpretation. We know that sentiment is bearish as all get out. If defense companies can't go up, well, guess what? That means the tide's going to maybe turn and we'll have better days ahead. So don't get too bearish. SEI, look at that. Darvas box breakout. TSEM, Darvas box breakout. What bear market? Oh, this one. UMAC had a box breakout. And let's see, make it. Broke out right here, went up, and then did a secondary clunk. I didn't buy that because I tried the stock here and over here, and I never liked the way it traded. So we will move this to watching. So you see the list of the best keeps getting smaller. Vet Energy Company, box breakout, up. Oil's good to be in. That looks nice. Viav, box breakout here, went up. Sell signals here, but if you just be patient, it keeps climbing higher. So we'll see what happens on that. Vist, another oil stock here, box breakout. Had a breakout here, but low volume. But this one's got the volume. And by the way, I don't really change my charts until the weekend because I like to get a good night's sleep, wake up fresh. And I'll tell you something with experience. Usually your first impression of a chart, when you first click on it, your first impression is usually accurate. My first impression of this, bullish, because I'm seeing this bar right here. Some choppy fear, but eventually, nope, this one wants to go higher. Bullish. This one's a good one for income. The first impression, your gut feeling is usually correct. Box breakout here. It's been going higher. Two big signals. Look at this volume. Yeesh. But you know what? With this volume, again, the principle of big volume, little movement, somebody was buying all that volume. I think that was the S&P 500 thing. I'm not sure. But big volume with little movement means for every buyer, there's a big seller, or vice versa. So the best of the best, there aren't that many, but if you bought like TSEM or SEI or Docken or some of these, you're on easy street. Okay. The bullish list, stocks that are on bullish signals have indeed bullish signals. And actually, this one shouldn't be on this list, but bullish signals that are there, but they do not have the volume. So it's like a box breakout on low volume. And we'll get to AAOI in a second. So BE. Box breakout here. Normally it was on list 2, but then it got the signals here. So it got downgraded from list 2. And now, ever since then, it's been trying to go higher, but volume's been light. Trying to go higher, but keeps coming back down. And now, did it stay above? Close 151.37. Close 150.12. This is back in the box. It's sideways. When it's above This, it's on the bullish list. When it's sideways, it's not. And I know lots of traders love this stock, but it's struggling. But the good news is they keep trying to take it higher, but just the volume's not been big enough. Hopefully that picture is clear for you. And again, this is all about interpretation. How are we interpreting the chart? Okay, BWXT. Whoop. Come on. Okay, a bearish pink bar. Remind me later. A bearish pink bar right here, followed by an inside bar with potentially, it's a potential hammer. It's a little hard to say. The coloring is we got multiple going on. Then it was above it, which made it on this list, but it closed below. Now that's a bearish signal. This is coming off and back to watching. Here's a better example. Box breakout did not have the volume because it broke out on this bar. So it went on to the bullish list. Then the volume came in and it goes up, looks great. Now it had this inside weak. What does it do? It resolves to the upside. Buy it. That's bullish. Notice here that you would have had to sit through up, 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 then this awful down week, which was on low volume. And you would have been questioning yourself, kicking yourself. It's also an argument for once a stock breaks out, there's at a certain point, you do not want to chase it. Like chase it in the first couple weeks. But once you get into week 5, don't chase it. You just want to be sitting because you might encounter this week where everybody who bought in here and here and partially in here got taken to the washing machine and probably panicked out. Then they've got back in and now look at that, bullish. Woof, a lot going on here. Box breakout goes up, up, up. Signal, signal, signal. This technically blue is bullish, so that's why it's on here. It was on the bearish list here, and then it went to here, so I moved it back to the bullish. A lot of chop in here, but this might resolve to the upside next week, maybe. Coin, bullish because of this bar right here. That's a bullish hammer bar, and coin has gone up. I tried trading it here. I got stopped out through volatility, and then I kicked myself about it afterwards. Since then, I don't see anything telling me to get in. This potentially was, but it didn't hold. But overall, that looks kind of bullish. Circle. Bullish on here, but this is now a bearish bar. I hope it's bearish. I want to buy this. There's Dell. Dell is definitely bullish. This should be on your bull list. Fastly, I own this. Bullish yellow bar buy signal, also known as an EP, an episodic pivot, although I don't really use that term or strategy. And ever since, up, up, up. And this is a little indecisive, but it probably just needs to go sideways a bit, but total winner. Don't sell your winners. GEV going up with, there's a sort of a bearish signal, but the reason why this is on here is because it had this inside bar with a bullish resolution. Put it on this list. Ever since then, sideways, that there is a Darvas box. And it comes off the list and goes into watching. Does this make sense so far? I hope so. GLW, box breakout, low volume, so it goes on this list. Still doing good. Volume comes in, comes up here. Uh-oh. even more volume, and then this bar here on big red selling. Ever since then, kind of doing nothing. What does that form? A Darvas box. And if it's in a box, that's going sideways, watching list. See how this works? Okay, GME had the signal. I kept it around based on this. Finally getting pulled down, volume's low, but ultimately this is sideways. The only reason I look at GME is because of the action it had years ago. I actually don't think it's a very good company, but it is what it is. KTOS, the big box breakout right here, but then 2 weeks later, a big signal, and then it confirmed to the downside. I saw buying in here, big red sell, big red buy, big green buy. Bought in, but it's been hugely choppy. I had to get out. But it hasn't broken downward, so we'll call this sideways. Remember how we saw defense companies struggling? That's a defense company. Is the Iraq war going badly? No, the Iran war, that war's over. More evidence. Here we go. Net breakout here. Volume's low, so it goes on the bullish list. Same industry as Fastly. Nectar, a biotech. Normally I don't have bios, but I know some biotech investors, and man, biotech was on fire earlier this year. Sideways in a box. Watching. NVAX. I'm long right in here. Signal, benign. An inside bar went upwards, didn't close upwards. This is just sideways slop. But the fact that it's up here and not down here, that's why I'm still long. Again, stay long if you can until you get that contrary signal that's confirmed. No signal, stay long. This one here, I saw this bullish signal right in here. It's gone sort of bearish. Not really doing much. I'm going to put this in bearish. One of the big kahuna winners, SanDisk. Box breakout here, it's on the bullish list because when it came out, it had low volume. Talk about a mixed signal, huh? And then once it went from here, boom. And even it had a much better signal down here. Bearish hammer, resolved higher, some chop, went down and shake and bake some investors, came right back up, and now a bearish hammer. We'll see how this resolves next week. But it wanted higher, got sold off this week, but maybe the trend is still up. We'll see. But that's a bearish signal, so I'll put it in bearish list. Okay, WDC, Western Digital, box breakout. Now this just shows what kind of a crazy week it was. It's a box breakout, but it's also a bearish shooter signal. We'll go with the box breakout. That goes in the list too. And there we have it. There's our bullish list. That kind of matches the market at this point. Any buy signals? Bet the ranch? Nope. All right, how are we doing on time? All right, we'll whip through this bearish list because most stocks are going to look awful in this list, and then we'll wrap up. So AOI, I am long from down here. It had a bearish shooter bar right here, a bearish shooter bar that triggered successfully to the downside. Normally you'd say you should have sold somewhere here around 94, 93, 95. You could have even sold right at the open, which would have been 100. That would look pretty good right now. But here's a question about time frames. The monthly chart looks great. Box breakout. The quarterly chart looks fantastic. Up, up, up. Box breakout. And the yearly chart. So you see this one in 2025? This is a bullish hammer signal with a box breakout. I bought this stock and I'm going to own it because I bought it using the yearly time frame. I saw this and I went, oh my God, I got to have this stock. I'm long about 35 right here. So when I see it on weekly, put in this signal, I'm going to ignore it because I bought it based on the yearly. I think this is going to be a multi-year stock, so I don't care about this signal. But if my time frame is only to trade on weekly time frames, then yeah, that's valid. This is probably going to come down a bit more. Maybe it comes in the 70s. I don't know. I'm happy being a trend follower, sitting on it, and going for the long-term capital gain. If it forms a bullish signal down in here, I'll buy it and I'll add to it. But this is an example of what's your time frame, because this is a valid sell signal right here for traders, shorter term traders. Me on this one, I'm an investor, baby. I'm going for the big kahuna. So that's how you got to resolve this when you see bearish signals. When I get in doubt, I go to the other time frames to take a look and try and figure out, what do I want to do? Do I want to sit? Or, is it time to bail? Okay, most stuff's going to look bearish. Apple, box breakdown, yeah, not good. A-Lab, oh, there's that breakdown. AMD, well, it's on this list because it went down here, but yeah, it's popped back up, but I'll keep it on the list. It's kind of surprising it hasn't broken down more. Oh well, we'll keep an eye on that. Amazon, box breakdown right here. Done nothing ever since, and that looks like it's ready to roll over. AP, here is an example of when I did sell. Saw the signal, bailed right after. Yep, good decision. Because on this one, the time frames, I'm not as interested. And it's a small little stock. It was a small position, so it was easy to just let it go. ARQQ, I don't even know why I'm following this, because look at this. Ever since this top here, and I sold this top here, not the tippy top, but I sold in the upper range because I saw that bearish hammer forming, shooter bar. And ever since then, it's been down. I should have been shorting it here. That's my mistake. Looks awful. I should get rid of it. Broadcom, Darvas box breakdown, big volume. I think this stock is in trouble. I think this stock is something that should be shorted, and it's probably going back down into the hundreds. Boeing, down, down. Defense contractors doing badly, huh? Means these investors do not see a prolonged Iran war. This one, Battalion Oil, a crazy one I put on this list because you see that's an inside bar, broke downwards, bearish. Even though it has goalpost volume here and all that, that means crazy ride. Housing, BLDR, supplies the wood for homes, down. Are people buying homes? Nope. Berkshire, box within a big box. Reflects mainstream America, box breakdown. Reinforces the, maybe we're in a recession, maybe, I don't know. Coal, tried to break out, came back down, bearish. This was actually, when I put this on the list here, it was a bearish shooter bar. But in this case, since it never showed up, I'll put this on watching. Caterpillar going sideways. The reason it's on the bearish list is because of right here. Inside, down, pink bar, down. And it's just been sort of sliding downwards. So keeping an eye on that one. Sell H. White bar sell signal. Down. This one, chime. Inside bar, it resolved downwards. Bearish list going down. Costco on the list. Why? Pink bar, bearish signal. Inside bar resolved downwards. That one we already know about. Credo. Box breakdown here. Had this bullish signal right here, which I bought. What did it do? Went up and then came back down. I had to sell it. And now it formed sort of a bearish bar. It's on a very slight negative downtrend. Bearish list. Core weave signal here. Tried to go down. Oh, actually, that's kind of more sideways. Interesting for data centers. CVNA, very clear. Box breakdown, negative, downwards. DoorDash, box breakdown. Tried to rebound, nope, downwards. DoorDash with higher fuel costs and AI and all that, is that bullish or bearish? The insider who put 100 million in is probably freaking out. He's already lost, let's say his average was 200. He's already down 25%. Woof. If he loses 50%, does he jump off a building? I don't know. Let's hope not. What do we got here? Deck. Box breakdown, down, down. Note here the volume was missing, but it's still a bearish pattern. Housing, bearish. Box breakdown, and look on volume. Yeah, the housing market's got problems. This one, ETOR, started tracking it from here, but it's being dragged down like everything else. Ford, unfortunately, big sell signal, down. Figma, I really like this green volume coming in here. Inside week, resolved downwards. But volume's low, so it's being dragged down. Keep Fig on your radar, because this big green here, that means it's interesting. FIGR, on this list because it went from 76 down to 26 in 6 weeks. Yeesh. But this may be positive. Maybe it's going to start a box here. I'll keep it on this list for another week. We'll see. Fly. I thought this was interesting, but look at that. More sellers than buyers. And that is a bearish shooter bar. Fro, tankers. What happened when the Iran war broke out? Tankers sell. Buy it here. There could be a war. Holy crap, there is a war. Sell. Solar. We saw that the TAN solar is going up, doing great. First Solar is doing terrible. Look at that. Why, I do not know. FTAI, box breakdown here, bearish. GE, for the first time in a long ass time, GE is bearish. Box breakdown. GGAL, box breakdown. GH, box breakdown. Galaxy, you get the hint. Look how terrible all these are. Grail, Hood. I thought Hood was the greatest thing ever. Nope. Hood got abused on that S&P 500 entry. It's like a battered child. IBRX took off, but then this giant signal here, and it's sort of done nothing since. AI, quantum, bearish. Iran, bearish, but everybody loves it. But you had the signal right here. It's sort of bumping down on the bottom thing but volume's been muted. So I'd call this one 50-50. Everybody talks about how they love it. Well, if they love it, where are the buyers? But helpful to their cause is that there aren't a ton of sellers either. So 50-50 there. Jumia, ugh. JPM, my dad owns a lot of it. He's freaking out. But that's a bearish box. I try to get him to sell, he just doesn't. This one, and again, box breakdown. Light. Why is light on here? Bearish signal. In fact, I've had this on this list since here. This really should be more on the bull list. But you see, I moved stocks around. Whoopsie. But even though light, super winner, look at this volatility in here. Not an easy one the last few weeks. Eli Lilly, box breakdown. So you get the gist. There's just a lot of stocks on this list. Well, that one I had on here. This one should be sideways. This one, by the way, is so thin. I wish it was this thin. I wish I was this thin. This one barely trades like 3,000 shares a day, excuse me. Microsoft, box breakdown. Although volume was low, but again, software. You really want to be in software? Oh, okay. MSTR, Bitcoin. Why bother with this company if Bitcoin's not doing anything? Now, box breakdown here. Sure, the insiders bought. Yeah, big deal. AI will blow them away. NVIDIA, still going sideways, but this bearish pink bar. We had the bearish white bar here. Still holding in like a champ, though. ONDS, it's on this list because of this bar right here. It really didn't trigger, so I'm going to move this to watching. All this is really good examples to not fall in love with stocks and just go off the chart. Just go off of the chart. Oracle House, we know that. Qubits, more quantum down, box breakdown. Reddit, ugh. That one, ugh. Rocket, mortgages, housing struggling, right? Glad I sold it up here. Jesus. Run, ugh. What a nightmare. I was bullish on this one too. And boy, was that a belly flop. I did not expect that. Thank God I didn't have any. Otherwise I would have been really upset. SE. Here's something that gets me upset. I shorted it here. I covered it here like an ass. And look what it's done ever since. 110, now it's at 78. Cancel my Super Trader card. Shop, just looking all over the place. Impossible. Silver, we know about. Shark Ninja. I love Shark Ninja up in here, but had to give it up, and look at it now. Jeez. We know about that. SoFi. Never like this, but look at that. Box breakdown. Look how trends change. Tesla, unfortunately, box breakdown right here. The good news is volume was muted, but why are you... Everybody loves Tesla. I think what he's doing is pretty cool. But as far as the stock is concerned, no, that's a void. UNH down. What is that? VST, yeah, down. Actually, that's premature box, but there's a signal. Signal, bearish resolution. That's why it's here. Walmart, box breakdown. Uh-oh. Even the champs are taking it. So I think you get the gist. As an investor, what should you be doing? You should have your portfolio defensive, but you should have been taking action weeks ago. If you only sold on Friday, well, you might be a little late. But right now we're in the beginnings of a larger bear market. Most stocks look bad. There are a few that were doing awesome. So if you do have longs, you want to have stuff that looks like that or stuff that looks like that. But the majority of trades are bearish or avoid or go on vacation. So um, try not to lose money. And hopefully you have a good trading week this week. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.